What's up, everyone? Back with another video. A couple days ago, I was watching If You Know, You Know, his channel. He had a video out called How Silver and Gold Saved Me. The whole time I was watching that video, I was thinking, how can I make the same video? I don't have such an exciting story to tell, but I still have a story. So, busted out the graphing paper. That's how you know it's getting serious, when you have the graphing paper. And I made a timeline, and his was called How Silver and Gold Saved Me. Mine is How Silver and Gold Changed My Life timeline, because it's a timeline. So let's just get into this, and we're going to start from the beginning. 1979, born. Pretty self-explanatory. Don't really need to go into much detail there. But like I said, we're starting at the beginning. Next, 1997, graduated high school, started working in the exciting, challenging career of HVAC. Been doing it for 20 and a half years. A whole nother story about that. Don't need to go into detail either. Okay, 2010, bought my house that I live in with my wife as as we speak. Don't need to go into much detail about that either. Let's keep moving on. I think there's 13 different periods in this timeline. Okay, 2012. I'm in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas has a pawn shop, which is famous for being on the History Channel. It's called Silver and Gold something. I forget the name of the pawn shop, but it's famous for Pawn Stars. And they made their own rounds called the Old Man Round, and silver was like $30 at the time, and didn't know anything about silver, didn't care, but I was on a mission to buy those rounds, and I ended up buying 3 at $60 a piece. 2 of them were sold to someone I know that wanted them, so I still have that. It's officially my first ounce of silver. Didn't start my collection, just I've had it ever since. No big deal. Has to go on the timeline though. 2014, started dating my wife. That was in December. 2017. Now here's where we start getting into how silver came about. I started my silver collection. Was watching YouTube. Didn't know anything about silver. Was watching Silver Slayer's channel. He, at the time, was about the only one that had a channel. I mean, there might have been 5 other channels. I don't even think Sal had a channel back then, but he had like 900 subs, and he was the one that told me what American Silver Eagle was, what a panda, a cougar bear. Yeah, he's the one that got me started with silver. He would have a video that would talk about, this is a capsule, this is how you put silver in a capsule, this is a tube, and that's where I learned most of my stuff about silver was from Silver Slayer. And I've actually made videos about this on my channel early when I started my channel, about how I owe him all the credit. So started buying silver by the bulk. Silver was $18 an ounce. I was buying it daily. Modern Coin Mart, eBay store. 5 American Eagles, $99. 5 Canadian Maple Leafs, $95. I mean, silver was showing up here by the truck every day. And that's how I got started. Moving on. 2018, I get engaged to my wife. Now, that's kind of important because I bought less silver than I bought the previous year, because we had to plan for a wedding / honeymoon. And when we got engaged, we had 18 months to plan, prepare, pay for this wedding / honeymoon. So even though we didn't get married to the next year, I was spending a lot of money on mostly the honeymoon, because we could prepay for a lot of the stuff beforehand. But we were still buying a lot of stuff for the wedding, a lot of down payments and deposits and stuff. So pretty big year. 2018 is pretty big. Not so much for silver. 2019. This is an important year because this is the year we got married. And even though I don't have gold on this channel and I take a lot of heat from it, I actually had owned an ounce of gold that I bought in 2017. It was a Scottsdale Mint Egyptian Relic Series King Tut 1 ounce gold. 10,000 were made. I think I had like serial number 6,000 or something. It was in a card. It was cool. Paid $12.88 for it back in 2017. Had a $53,000 wedding / honeymoon. I ran out of room to pay for. So I don't like I tell everyone that I sold the gold to pay for the wedding, but I kind of actually sold it because gold had gone from 1,200 to 1,500. And I was like, well, I might as well make a profit and use the money to pay for the wedding. I did make a lot of money on it. And yes, I did pay the capital gains tax on it. So anyone from the IRS listening, yes, I did pay the tax on it. And, yeah, right. Anyways, I almost forgot what I was saying. So yes, I sold the gold for profit. We're going to say half and half. More for the profit than to pay for the wedding. But that's what happened in 2019. I was still buying silver. Again, a lot. Probably about half as much. And then half as much as this year. I mean, it kept going down and down and up significantly. Thousands less each year. Let's move on to 2020. That's when COVID hit. Everyone remembers lockdowns and all that. Well, silver went down to like $11 an ounce. And what I remember about that was that if you went to go online and you went to buy silver online, APMEX, JM Bullion, everything said out of stock. And I will not, you cannot convince me that it was out of stock. I think they just stopped selling it because if most of their gold and silver was bought at whatever, gold was like 2,000. Well, it hadn't hit that yet, but silver was, let's say, 18. They can't sell it at 11. They would have lost even at 15. They would have lost. So I think they just stopped selling, and that's what I remember. I did buy some silver in 2020. Most of it was in January and February, but after the pandemic started, I pretty much didn't buy anything for the rest of the year. I kind of stopped. It was weird. It was weird trying to buy silver in 2020. I didn't go to the LCS. I didn't go to coin shows. Most of my silver came from Provident, JM, APMEX, places like that. I hadn't even known about Bold yet. I hadn't known about Monument, Hero. I hadn't known about those places. I didn't find out about those till I started my YouTube channel. But COVID definitely was a weird year. I've probably spent about the same amount on silver both these years. Paid off house 2021. I only wrote that here because I didn't want to put it here. That would have messed up the spaces, this nice even spaces that I had going on. I wanted it to be uniform. But yeah, 2021 came and I paid off my house. That was a huge year. Very, very easy to come up to that decision. Owed 40 grand on the house. Had 50 grand in the bank. Now, my house payment was like $600 a month. So I'm like, it's not really that bad to have a house payment because I just, pay it, no big deal. Took me about 8 seconds to realize I did some math, not some fish math, some standard math, and I was paying about 2 grand in interest a year at that time. And like I said, 8 seconds later, I go, why would I give the bank $2,000 a year? So it was the simplest procedure. I called up Wells Fargo, said, how much do I owe? They said, this is the amount you owe. I gave them a routing number of my bank, and it was paid off just like that. No house payment. Now I still have to pay property tax and insurance, but what are you going to do? The insurance I get, the property tax I don't. But that's another story. So November 2022, another big year. Black Friday. Amex had a Black Friday sale. Amex was not expecting to get bombarded on their website, so their website crashed. It was very, very hard for people to buy silver on Amex. It took me, I logged on at 8 a.m. I got the 9 fine box of 5 10-ounce bars, because when you buy 5 10-ounce bars, you got the foam fitted box. If you buy the 5-ounce bars, you get 10 of them in the foam fitted box. But I bought the 5 10-ounce bars that year, about $1,100. About 4 hours later, I ended up getting a whole tube of 9 fine mint Buffalo, $469 for a whole tube. Awesome deals. Okay, that was all I was able to grab because the website was so bogged down. I was watching YouTube back then. Go on YouTube, and I want to say it was Silver Bean Counter. He wasn't the only one, but every video out there was just slamming Amex about terrible website, terrible this, terrible that. And I was in the comments defending Amex. I'm not affiliated with them or anything. I said, what are you talking about? I got a great deal on silver. You just had to try a little harder. You know, I had the command center set up. I had 3 computers going. I had a laptop going and my phone. I got through. Stop your crybabying. Well, because of that pushed me to start my own YouTube channel. I said, I need a voice out there. And believe it or not, my very first video is talking about and showing the very first silver that I bought from, actually, not the very first silver I bought, the silver that I bought on Black Friday from Amex on my very first video. That was my very first video. And I had to tell the world that leave Amex alone. It's not their fault. If you guys would have just tried a little bit harder, you could have got some silver at some good prices. So, but anyways, that's also when I met Kansas Kid, who I referred to as AG. Changed his name without asking me, which is okay, I guess. CS, Constitutional Stacker. These are guys that Constitutional Stacker more than Kansas Kid. These are guys that I just talk to daily, you know. I mean, I used to talk to Kansas Kid a lot more on Instagram and stuff, but CS is like a text, a phone call, an Instagram. I don't want to say every hour, but a lot. We're always talking and stuff like that. So very cool that you could start a YouTube channel and meet friends. So that happened in 2022. We're getting down to the end. There's not much left on this graph. So 2023 just set the record for the most silver I spent, the most money I spent on silver. Not much to say about it. It was like $22. I was buying a lot from my coworker. Spent about $6,000 on 90% silver. He had a bunch from his dad, so I bought it. I don't know if there's anything for 2020. Okay, this is the end. And we're now at the year 2025. And it's the year that I met Fish in person. And that's how silver changed my life. Because I met Fish in person. Now, if you see that there's a little bit left to fill in, I could put 2026, 2027. Hasn't happened yet. But once you achieve this, like there's nothing else that really needs to go any higher. You know what I mean? I mean, how do you, how do you, I can't even think of the words. Like, what happens after that? You know what I mean? I mean, die? I probably could put, death. But anyways, I wanted to tell a story of I guess I could say my silver journey, but, then that kind of sounds like his channel. But definitely how silver changed my life. And that's it. That's my story. Thanks for watching.